Hello and welcome back to Bluebird Lane Creations. My name's Tiffany and it's time to get creative. We are back with our Flora's Secret junk journal we're working on. We're going to be putting these pages into this book cover anyway, and I'm going to be referencing a YouTube segment done by Nik the Booksmith. I'm going to link it in the description. I did link it in my last Wednesday video as well. She's just got a lot of great tips on how to put the signatures into a book, and I'm going to be using a lot of her little tips and tricks along the way. So we've got a lot to get done tonight. My ultimate goal, obviously, I have estimated how many pages I wanted. So you can see how many we have, and you can see our book. And this is probably, once I fold these in half, we're already going to be having too many pages for this book. So we might edit down a little bit. And I think that edit is going to be my multimedia pages. And I think what I'll end up doing is using these to create, I'll use them kind of like a master board, like I'll use them to create little tags and such. So I'm going to take both of these pages out and set those aside, as well as one of the kit pages, and we're just going to set those aside to use down the road. My goal is to have 3 signatures, and what I did off camera, now we did some of it on camera, but off camera, I sewed around some pages. I've done some additional things, so I just kind of want to go through. We've already looked through the kit pages. I just have them kind of cut down to size. So we're going to put, I think there's 12 here, so that would give us possibly up to 4 per signature, but we'll see how big the signatures are. Maybe we just want to put 3 per signature, and we can save some of those pages. So I'm just going to quickly go through some of the pages, and what we'll do is we'll kind of just separate them into 3 piles and see what we can come up with here, kind of creating our signatures as we go. So I'm going to, let's see, we have a grid paper. We'll kind of put 1 in each. We've got this braille paper and some of this kind of seed paper, coffee dyed paper. We've got a lot of embossing in this one, so we'll switch that one over. We need a braille paper there. This was, I believe, my prescription bag, like a white piece of bag. These are just plain kind of seed paper. We've got this really nice pink. I did some stenciling on this and it's really light. I'm hoping, oh yeah, you can see it. I took a gray and I did some super light stenciling, so that's going to turn out cool. Okay, I think we had grid paper here. We don't have grid paper here yet, so that can go there. We need a piece of braille paper over here. Oops. We can use some of that pink paper. Put one of these in each. And I'm just going to dig this one down a little bit because I don't want it next to this one. Let's see. We've got some onion skin paper. Let's see, what do we have? We didn't have any of that yet. Put that one there. These ones I did sew around the edging with some gold. Let's see, onion skin. Put that one there. Did we get a piece of pink paper? There's one. There's one. And there's one. So this one's plain. Let's pull that one out and put one of the ones that I kind of stamped on. Let's see. That's a textured paper that we did. That one's got, let's see. So how many pages do we have in each of these? Let's just see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's going to probably be too many. So I'm just going to kind of look through here and see. This one's kind of a plain. We might take that one out. So that puts us at, did we say 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we'll just take kind of 3 random pages from this. Let's see. Just trying to think like what's going to be on the front. There's 1. There's 1. There's that one. Okay, so I want those to be the front of each of these signatures. And then we need one to kind of be in the middle somewhere. I'm just being somewhat random. We'll go through and make sure everything's right side up and such. That's a pretty one. And then maybe one more kind of second to last. That one will be last. Okay, where are we at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. We got 13 there. What do we want to pull out of this one? Let's take this one out. Need to take a couple more out of this one. We've got this one of that paper that's sewn around the edge, so we'll keep that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That one's got 11. Which other one needs to come out? Decisions. We'll take one of the onion skin out for now. Okay, what do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll take that one out. 10. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so we'll just kind of set some of these aside because we may work with them still for other elements. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to just I want to look through each of these signatures. I want to make sure, you know, like on this one, I noticed right away that there were 2 that were sewn around the edge right next to each other. So maybe I want to kind of move those further around in here. And then I just kind of want to make sure that everything looks right side up. So okay, that one's good. And I'm going to count one more time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. And then let's look at this one. So right now I'm just kind of checking to see what's next to each other. I'm thinking, yeah, I want that one. Okay. Sorry, I'm just, okay, I think we're all right side up. Let's just double count these ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. We've got that one. And then one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Perfect. So we've got our signatures. Now I want to cut a little piece of board that's going to be the piece that we're going to sew these onto. I'm not going to be sewing my signatures into this. I'm going to be sewing them onto a piece of book board that I can then glue in. So let me set these signatures over here. And let's do some measuring. I'm going to get my metal ruler because I am going to be using it to cut, and I'll probably need to pull out my cutting pad. So let me just make a little note here. So I'm probably going to go 7 1/4, and we'll just write it here, 7 1/4. And then I think, so our book board ends here and here, and I want to leave a little bit of a gap to that, so I think we're going to do, so that's about 2 1/4. Let's do 2 1/8. And we'll see where that gets us. So I have a oh goodness, catastrophe averted, nobody worry. Oh, I have so many things sitting under my desk. Okay, we're getting there. I should have had this pulled out already, but it's just my little sewing mat. And I have my glass media mat sitting under here, not braced, and that's probably not the right way to do things. Okay, so we're just gonna get this out. I don't think this is a straight edge, so I'm gonna go to this corner because I know that this is. So I'm going to measure on here. We want to go 7 1/4, so I'm gonna put that right there. And I'm going to make a pen mark right. Hopefully I'm on the screen enough. Let's go up here a little so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm taking my 7 1/4 mark and I'm just lining up with my straight edge. Just kind of put that square on my mat here. It just helps me visualize. Okay, so 7 1/4. And then I'm going to come over here to the first start of that and put my little mark. And then we want to go in. We're going to go in, what did we say, 2 1/8. And I'm just going to make this straight again. And we'll kind of follow. Make sure my ruler's straight on this side, somewhat straight, and we'll make a little mark there. And so then I'm just gonna, I have if you want to be more precise, then you can get one of these T-square rulers. That way we can just follow this down. I use my metal ruler for cutting because I like that that metal edge when I'm using my finger blades. So now we'll just finish this off here. All right, that is my book binding, and I'm gonna just get that cut out first. While I'm doing this, I just want to welcome everybody back to the channel. It's lovely to have you guys here week after week, and I just am enjoying the friendships immensely. I'm just gonna, this is how I do this. You could do this with scissors. I find scissors are gonna pull, so I like to do it this way. I do want to also welcome back a few new folks to the block. Layla Two-Strip, and I apologize if I pronounced that wrong. The Shabby Hippie, GL Reed 63, and Talia Spa K. Talia's Bouquet. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I sure hope so. All right, I think that's coming loose there. I'm going to turn and just go ahead and get this little piece cut as well. I'm glad to have so many new faces around too, because it gives me new content to watch and new techniques to see. Inspiring, you know. Okay, I'll set that aside and see where I'm at here. So this needs to go through. I prefer the finger blade. This is just more comfortable for me. But you can just use an X-Acto knife. There we go. Perfect. And I'll put my lid back on this guy because knowing me, I will stab myself. It's just not pretty. Okay, we'll tuck that away. We've got this is going to be our book binding. Now I'm going to, we've got 7 1/4. I want to find my middle. Of course, it would help if I'm on the side that I can see here. I want to find my middle, and since we're at 2 1/8, 1 1/16 should be our very center. And I'm going to also measure it on the other end here. 1 1/16, and then I'm just going to draw a line down that. Let's see if I can get this somewhat straight. That looks pretty good. And then we just have to decide where we want the other signatures to fall. I like to come pretty close to the front of this, so we'll we'll probably go about here. So let's say there. Let's try to get that. I'm going to do this upside down. Sometimes there's a right way and a wrong way, and sometimes there's my way or the highway. And this is what I need to happen for me right this second because it's easier. And then I'm just going to eyeball this last one. I use my square ruler to kind of keep it consistent here. Okay, that's pretty good. This one's closer than that one, but that's okay. I feel like my first signature is always fuller of stuff anyway. Now, I want to find the center this way, and we will mark that on here. So we've got 7 1/4, 3 1/2 is half of 7, and then we need another 1/8, so we will go there. That will be our very center hole of our signature, and we will just square this off, and we can put the other 2 there. And I'm just thinking, I think on this one I'm going to try sewing it. Stick with what we know works or try something new. So Nik the Booksmith, she does hers with 4 holes, so she wouldn't have the center, she would have 1 2 3 4, and I kind of liked how hers looked when she stitched it in, and I'm thinking about trying it. That's what I'm asking myself. Or I can just do the stitch that I'm comfortable with, this is a fairly small journal. So I guess one of the questions that I have and what I'm thinking through right now are these small pages like this, and how, you know, see this, if I sew it in the center, it's not going to reach the other holes. However, if I sew it here and here, and then here and here, then it will have grabbed this in 2 places. That's kind of what I'm thinking through right now. So I think we're gonna try her stitch here. So I'm gonna go and draw my template a little differently. We're gonna have the top one, and then something halfway between that and the center. Probably about here. And then we'll kind of do the same thing here. And about there. And that'll make sure our small pages are secured 2 places instead of 1. Otherwise, we have to make sure we shift them to the top or the bottom. So we're going to say nope on these. And let's decide that this is our top. And okay, now I am going to use a piece of paper. I just use, since I know these are already cut down this size, I think I'm just going to use one of these onion skin papers. I know I kind of already decorated it, but that's okay. And what I'm going to do is I just want to create a template so that I can use this inside the signature to mark where the holes are, you know, push the owl through where the holes are going to be. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to line it up here. I'm going to take my pen. I'm just going to mark these 4 spots. And let's get my little owl, AWL owl. And I'm going to take my, this is a text block from another book. But what I'm going to do is I need to press through all of these first of all. So I'm just going to make these holes. And we're going to go ahead and skip that center one when we get there. And this is just going through so that we can sew through these, and we can press them through from the back when we're done. But right now I'm just making sure that they're defined. This is why I use these book pages as my glue, you know, where I do my masterboards, my glue stick on here, because usually it has a gajillion holes in it, and so it's not really something I use for, okay, I think these are big enough for the needle. So these pages aren't something that I use for, you know, creating pieces of ephemera or embellishments or anything. Sometimes I can use them for embellishments if they're, you know, if there's a good piece of it left. Okay, we've got our 3 signature holes. Let's go ahead and push through here also. Yeah. Okay, so perfect. Now I'm gonna pull a few clips. Let's see. I don't know why these things are so hard to get a hold of. Okay, we've got some clips. Yeah, we'll still need this. And let's just start with our first signature. Oh, this is not, our first signature is already sitting out here. Open it up. Okay. Give me just a second here, guys. I am getting really warm. I think I turned my heater up to like 72 and I left it there. It was so cold earlier. But it is cold no longer. Okay. So let's just make sure, you're going to see me check and recheck that everything is the right side up, because this is when it is the most important. And I think so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lightly fold all of my pages in half. And when I say lightly fold, it just means I'm not going to crease them. I learned also from Nik the Booksmith that you want to crease them together. So, but what I want also is for these small pages to sit where I tell them to, and that's harder to do when they're not creased. So this is just going to give me the opportunity to lightly put my signature together here. And when I do these small pages, they should stay, I can clip them when I'm done and tell them to stay put. So I'm not pushing all the way down, they're just lightly folded. And this will work beautifully. So like when we have this shorter page, it should stay a little bit more in place, which will allow us to sew it in the 2 spots that we wanted to do that. So and it gives me a chance to make sure all the pages are once again right side up. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make, is to accidentally sew something in upside down. Even just one page, it's just brutal. So now that we've got those, I'm just going to kind of shift them around make sure that they are where I want them, and then we can clip them into place. Right here. And now we can take our little template and put our holes in here. And we'll be able to just leave the clips and hold that into place. So I am going to just go at an angle, and I'm just angling into the crack of this signature so that they come out right on the spine. And we can even, we could fold this a little bit and you know, get that crease a little bit more now that we have all of our pages together. Just find where I was, make sure that I'm if you ever lose your spot, just fold this over and make sure it's lining up, and it is. So and these should end up lining up directly with the holes here, and it looks like they will. Now, this one here looks a little off. So I just want to check something. Okay, so we had our first little issue. We had this template upside down. I need to write top on here because they were not in the right spots. So let's see what we can do about this. I don't think it's that far off to where I can't make it work. So I'm going to leave this one, and we'll just have to see what happens when we come to it. But the others I will make sure that are in the right spot. So let's fold these. And what I'll do, let me go ahead and pause here, and I'll be right back. That way you guys don't have to go through that 3 more times. So I'll be right back. All right, we're back, and we have 3 signatures. That'll be the first, second, and third. All right, those are looking pretty good. So now I want to address this. So I'm just going to grab a piece of scrap paper. I did some stenciling on this, clearly some embossing as well, as it's still stuck to it. I'm going to take a small piece of cloth. I just want to make sure. Okay, I just had a random piece of paper. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I'm just going to count these real quick because I just want to make sure one of these signatures isn't missing a piece of paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's this one. And we will put this. I think I'm just going to leave it. If I take it apart now, chances are stuff is not going to line up right. So we will just leave it. Okay, we're going to set those aside. I'm just going to take a piece of muslin. Any kind of linen will do. And I want to cut a piece that I'm going to glue this down to. So it needs to be, we're going to be gluing it on each side to our book. So we want it at least as big as this. I'm just trying to think. I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger, and I will trim it down. So let me get my fabric scissors. And we will get this cut right about here. This does not have to be perfect. I'm just, the edges are going to be covered. Everything's going to be covered pretty much. So work on this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to glue this down to this. So I'm going to be using some PVA glue for this. A friend of mine recommended this, my friend Beth. She uses this for her books, and it worked for me on my first one, so we will be using it on this one as well. And I'm just going to put a little bit in this thing. Apparently I glued this little business on the top here. Okay. I'm just gonna, oh, holy smokes. That came out fast. Okay. Well, we're gonna be using that real quick. Before I start, I'm gonna pull out a little hand wipe because I will need it. I can already tell you. And I'm just going to get some glue all over this. And you want it to coat, you want a real good coat on here, but you don't want it to be, you know, there doesn't need to be globs of it, just enough to let the material stick. I know some people kind of water this down, and you can. I don't. It works really well the way that it is. So, and I know that this is the top, so I'm going to make sure that that goes at the top, and we'll mark it again. Almost done. Let me just try to pick this up so I can get this last little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. So we will set this over here, and I'm just gonna make sure this is somewhat flat, and I want to, yeah, that's my top. I'm just gonna kind of center it to my piece here. Give it a real good push down. Just want to make sure that it picks up all the way to the edges. And it is coming through that a little bit, so I'm just going to pick it up here and make sure. So sorry, it picked up some of the coloring from here. It's not a big deal because it's going to be covered, but what I do want is just to make sure that it's all smooth. And I'll set that page aside for a moment, and we'll kind of let this, we're just going to let this dry. What's great about this is I'll still be able to see where the holes are so that I can push the owl through. Okay, I'm just trying to think. I can trim this down a little bit while it's drying, and I'm just going to kind of shape it like this up towards this corner and around the top and back down from the corner. Just something like that. And I'll do the same thing over here, up to the corner, across the top, and down. All right, here we go, referencing Nik the Booksmith for the gajillionth time on this one. I'm going to trim this because this is not going to lay flat over here. And when we go to glue that down, I would like it to lay flat. Okay. So we have this little piece drying, and this will dry fairly quick. While that's drying, I want to do something. Okay, I'm going to pause here for just a minute. I'm going to let this dry a little bit. I'm going to put some of this glue back in my bottle, and I'm going to wash my brush, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is still sitting here drying. We'll let it dry a little bit more while we work on another part of the project. What I'm going to do, I don't know where I got these, to be honest. They are crocheted together. We're going to cut them apart. And what I saw Nik the Booksmith do is she made these little, I don't even know what they're called, but I'm calling them like a bumper for the top. She just folded this over, and you'll see what I'm doing here in just a minute. I'm not sure what it's called, so it's hard to explain. Let me get a straight cut on my piece here, and I'm gonna leave myself, I can always cut it down after I glue it, but let me try to cut across here. And you're gonna want some larger, like, binder clips like this, maybe even more than this. Might need to put a couple on each one. We can use, these pink ones might even be a better option if we're using two. Okay, I'm gonna use the little pink ones that I have. Okay, now I'm gonna cut this edge off as well. So that's going to be about right. And I want two pieces like that because we want to make two of these. So about like this. And we're going to cut this decorative edge off because we don't need that. And let me just throw all this on the floor to sweep up later. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, and I think she used her PVA glue, so I don't see why we couldn't. I think I'm going to use, just because I have it here in a bottle and I don't have to use my paintbrush that I just washed, I'm going to try to do this with Fabri-Tac. And what she did was she put some glue all the way across the bottom part, and a fair amount up, and she's creating like a bumper that basically makes it so you can't see your tops of your sewn in book areas. And hold on, I'm gonna mess this up if I'm explaining while I do it. So let me get this folded over. You don't want the glue all the way up because you want the little, I'm going to try to put these on like this. You want the little bumper area here. See what we're creating? Like a little, kind of a tube. These may work, they may not work. I don't know yet. But we're trying it out. Okay, let me get some more Fabri-Tac on this one. Okay. And she also put some on the edges so it didn't fray. She said that like lace, crocheted lace is ideal. This was the closest thing I had that was that wide. So I'm just, you know, using what's in my stash and trying to make that work. So we'll leave these to just kind of set up over there. Okay, I'm going to get my book back out here. This is, it's still a little tacky, but I think we'll be okay. I just want to press my holes back in. I can completely see through this where they need to be, which is awesome. Okay. So if you can see what we're doing, we're going to be sewing our signatures onto this. This is going to lay in here and be glued onto the sides like this. This will eventually get covered by a piece of paper once we do the cover. So we're not doing that part yet. Although I will want to cover this before we actually glue. So that might be on the next. We might not actually glue this down in here tonight, but I do want to sew the signatures on. So let me get my little sewing needle. Let's see, I forget how thick this is waxed cord. And I'm just trying to find the end here. See if I can, yeah, that'll work. Okay. I don't know how much I need yet, so I'm just gonna, let me think how this was done. Now remember, one of these is off just a little bit, so okay. I'm just going to leave myself quite a bit here, and we'll just kind of start sewing and see what we need to do. I'm sorry, you guys. I am not a professional at this yet. So there's a lot of thinking I have to do while we're doing this. And right now, I just want to make sure. So here's our top, and this is right side up. And I think I want to start with a different signature because I want kind of a pretty page for our first. Let's see. I think this is the one that might be off a little bit. Nope, that one looks good. We will work with that. Okay, so she came up through this one, down through this one, and we may have to do some adjusting. I'm just trying to find my little hole here. Everything's working out good so far. And we'll just give ourselves some more . Oops. All right, so I have not done it this way before, so I'm just, I think she made a knot here. So I'm going to just cut it back here. Let's make a knot. I'm just going to try it her way and see what happens here. And we'll have to tighten this up because that knot is about maybe a quarter or an eighth of an inch away, maybe not. All right, I'm going to pause the video right there because my heater is on and I'm going to roast to death here. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Let me just tighten this up a little. So we're going to make sure we pull that. Then we're going to pull this one. And then this one. And there. And then we should be able to start our next one. All right, so we've got one signature in. And I've got red ink all over me. Okay. Now this one, let's see if this one might be the one that's off. Let's just check it out. Yeah, so these two inside ones are just a little off. I'm hoping that it's not super noticeable or complicated, and let's just see what happens. So we've got that one. We're going to come right up through here, and we're making sure that we are right side up. We've got the top. Okay, so let's just get this one started and we will figure it out. Okay. So when I go through this one, unfortunately it's going to have to come a little bit that way. You guys can't even see what I'm doing. So we're just gonna, after I pull it through here, I'm gonna adjust it down and see what happens here. And then we'll go through this one and into this one. Just trying to see what's okay. So I'm thinking I'm gonna see if I can pull this out, because I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna see what happens if I just pierce my papers in a new spot. Is it gonna ruin everything, or is it gonna work? That's what we're about to find out. So we're backing this out. Okay, let's back this out of here too. This is not easy, I can tell you that right now. the wax on the cord makes the needle very slippery. Okay, so luckily this paper is very decorative, so we might not notice this as much. Where is my little template? Now, it's sewn here, so it's going to be very delicate work here. Let's see, we've got, let's see where this one's lined up. Let's see, I think the end one is going to work out because we, okay. So let's get our little book and see if we can get this underneath. And we're going to get our little owl. And, okay, we're lined up there. We're lined up there. So we're just going to pierce new holes for these two. And that should do it. So it's, you know, it's not perfect, but I think that it will hold it better in the long run. And that's the most important to me right this minute. Okay, let's tighten this little lady right back in here. And now we're going to go through this hole, which should line up pretty much spot on to that one now. And I know that this is not the way that everybody sews these in, because this is not how I learned, but I like to try, I wanted to try, you know, some different things, because ultimately you'll find the one that works best for you, or the one that lasts the longest, or, you know, whatever it may be, and that'll be your, you know, or maybe you'll do it differently every time. That's an option as well. So this, I wanted to try hers after watching the video, and I'm probably not even doing it right. I can only promise that I'm doing it right if I have the video on and I'm able to sit there and pause it and, you know, follow it step by step, which some of you guys might be trying to do with this, and I'm probably not making it any easier by doing things incorrectly. Okay, I think we have enough to go back through to our our third signature. So we're just gonna give it a go here. Let me get my needle through this one. And let's see, we've got, just double checking. Yes, this is our right side up. So we should be good here. Find that sweet spot. Okay. My hands are just like, it's so difficult to grip the needle after you've got this wax on everything. Just makes it a little bit extra difficult. But we're on the home stretch here, folks. Now I can already tell you I see one issue with, so she had like, I don't know, 5 signatures. So I only have 3. She had been able to tie her tails together, and I am not going to have that. So I'm going to have to do, you know, a little bit different on the finishing, but I think it'll still work. We're on the home stretch here. And then I think we'll probably be calling it quits after this part, because we're going to be really going along here for time. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of loop it around here and tie this off on, we're going to try to pull this super tight and move the knot all the way. Okay, let me get my needle off of here. Put my needle with my finger blade so I don't lose that. And I think, let me see. So the knot moved center and I'm afraid that it's going to slide over. So let me just knot it a few more times. The good thing is, this is all going to be covered, so it doesn't even matter what this looks like. You can do as much or as little here as you would like. I just want to make sure that this is really secure. So there's that one. I'll just, and then I'm going to kind of do the same thing down here. Just make sure that this is real secure. And you can do square knots and kind of go different directions and whatnot, just to make sure that you're good to go. The wax cord will definitely hold pretty good. So now we have our 3 signatures on our binding. Let's just see how we're looking for fit. I think we're going to wait and glue this all in next time we're together. So we're going to get that all the way into the back. And I think we're looking pretty good. Once these clips are off, this will definitely close and give us a lot of room. Now, these little doodads, let's see if I can get them off of here. We are going to glue right here. And this is what she was, isn't this cool? So instead of you being able to look down the spine of the book and see this unfinished, you glue this on there and it creates a little, once this is pushed in here, it's where you can't really see that. It's just like, so let me glue these on real quick just so that they're good and dry when we're ready to go next time. We'll just get some Fabri-Tac and, oh, sorry, I bumped the camera there. We'll get some Fabri-Tac and put these little bumpers on both ends here. And I did, yeah, I'm putting a generous amount on here. I just thought this was the most clever idea, and it's just going to look so much better in the book. So I don't want it hanging up that much, so I'm going to kind of scooch it down. That's probably a good amount right there. Let me check this one. This one's looking better. And just going to press that down. All right, so this can, I'm just going to leave this all kind of sitting here to settle. And oh boy, that was a lot. I was a little nervous doing this different kind of stitch, so we'll see how this all turns out. So far so good, I think, and I think this is going to look pretty good. So I'm just going to leave this sitting here so that this can glue down. Let me see, where's my, I've got my handy dandy little book weight, and I'll just have that hold there. That way these can glue on. And you could even, no, we can't do that because that'll be in the way. Maybe. Oh yeah, I can get that just kind of over the edge. Yeah, that'll hold them in there. Okay, we're gonna quit there. I've got a disaster to clean up here, and we had the whole spring forward thing, and I've got, today's Wednesday, but I'm filming this Sunday, so I start my new job tomorrow and I need to get some sleep. So I'm going to see you on Friday. We're going to be doing some more of the Tatty Treasures challenge, the Flora and Fauna. Check that out on Friday and get some more details of that. And we're on the home stretch for my giveaway. I'm going to put that in this will probably be the last video I link that in, because we only have like, I think, something like 17 or 18 subscribers to go, and then I'm going to be doing that drawing, and we are going to get 10 people some cool prizes. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I will see you Friday. Thank you.